Imagine walking into a room full of people, some familiar, some strangers. You can feel the weight of unspoken judgments, the quiet whispers of competition, and the subtle dance of influence. How do you win their respect, their trust, their hearts? Ancient Stoics knew this challenge well, and their answers hold the key to mastering human connection, even today. Stay with me, and I'll share with you how their timeless insights can empower you to win not just arguments, but the hearts and minds of others, without ever compromising your principles. There is a story from ancient Rome. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, found himself surrounded by a council of ambitious senators, men driven by power, ego, and the fear of falling from favor. One afternoon, a particularly arrogant senator attempted to corner him during a heated debate. The man raised his voice, attempting to dominate the room with rhetoric. The room watched in suspense. Yet Marcus said nothing. His silence wasn't born of weakness, but from strategy. He studied the senator's words, dissecting their intention and searching for the deeper motives behind them. Only when the man had exhausted himself did Marcus speak, calmly, clearly, and with a single question that unraveled the senator's entire argument. It wasn't volume or aggression that won the room. It was clarity, control, and wisdom. What Marcus did in that moment was not just an act of diplomacy. It was a mastery of hearts and minds through Stoic principles. To understand how Stoics achieved such mastery, you must first understand their approach to connection. The Stoics taught that winning the hearts of others begins not with words, but with presence. They believed that true influence flows from within, an internal state of calm confidence that draws others in like gravity. Epictetus would remind his students, first, learn to govern yourself. Only then can you govern others. His lesson was not about manipulation. It was about integrity. People are not won over by pretenses, but by authenticity. When your actions match your words, trust follows. The Stoics also understood that listening was an underrated superpower. To listen, they believed, is not to wait for your turn to speak, but to genuinely hear the thoughts, fears, and desires of another person. The act of listening creates an unspoken bond. It tells the other person, you matter. Seneca often warned against the trap of speaking too much. The man who talks constantly has no room left to learn, he wrote. The Stoics viewed conversation as an art form, a dialogue, not a performance. Persuasion, the Stoics believed, is not about overpowering others, but guiding them to see the truth for themselves. They rejected flashy rhetoric and manipulation, instead relying on three key virtues to win over others: humility, patience, and logic. Picture this: a heated debate in the streets of ancient Athens. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, is approached by a skeptic. The man mocks Zeno's philosophy, questioning how such self-control could ever lead to happiness. Instead of arguing, Zeno smiles. He asks the man a series of questions, not to humiliate him, but to lead him gently to a conclusion. Step by step, the man begins to understand. Zeno's technique was simple yet profound. Let others arrive at their own enlightenment. The Stoics knew that a forced argument wins no allies. Instead, they sought to build bridges through reason and understanding. But what happens when your efforts to connect fail? The Stoics were no strangers to rejection. They understood that not every heart can be won, and that sometimes your truth will be met with resistance. Here, Epictetus offers wisdom that feels almost like a balm. It is not the actions of others that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. If someone rejects you, it says more about their state of mind than your worth. The Stoic does not chase approval. They remain steadfast, knowing that their value does not diminish in the face of rejection. Marcus Aurelius echoed this when he wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In other words, Let rejection or hostility be a mirror. Let it show you who you are, not through their eyes, but your own. Winning hearts and minds isn't about control, it's about leadership. And leadership, in the Stoic sense, is an act of service. It's about uplifting others, not just yourself. When you embody Stoic principles, integrity, patience, and self-mastery, you become a beacon in a chaotic world. People are drawn to those who exude peace in the storm, those who rise above the petty battles of ego. As you navigate your own relationships, remember, you don't need to be loud to be heard, nor do you need to dominate to inspire respect. Influence flows naturally when your actions reflect your values. So the next time you find yourself in the midst of conflict or seeking to connect with others, pause. Ask yourself, am I leading with authenticity? Am I listening with intention? Am I staying true to my principles, even when it's difficult? The Stoics teach us that the most powerful form of influence isn't about winning arguments, it's about winning trust. It's about showing others, through your example, that there's another way to live, a way that's calm, courageous, and deeply aligned with what truly matters. If this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on how you approach the relationships in your own life. And if you found this story meaningful, share it with someone who needs it today. Remember, small changes in how we connect can create a ripple effect that transforms not just our lives, but the lives of those around us.